We plan to spend the next about 45 minutes or so going over Colorado early colleges and introducing our model to you through myself, Dr. Ager, and Mrs. Wendy Rhodes and Mrs. Uma Venkit are here with me as well to help talk about the exciting piece to Inverness and Colorado early colleges. So what we're going to talk about today is the history and authorization. We're going to talk a little bit about our model, our college and career opportunities, our academic programs, one of our critical pieces to CEC that makes us unique and successful, which is our advising model. Get into a little bit of campus life and community because that's important to students as well as family and the social life aspect of it. Get into a little bit of graduation, end with how to enroll into our exciting program, and ending with any questions that you may have. As you can see, there is a question and answer screen to the right of your screen, and at any time during this presentation you have questions, please feel free to type in those questions and we will respond to them, hopefully in a timely fashion. So again, welcome. To tell you a little bit about some of our leadership team, you can see that we have Dr. Toole there, who is our executive director. He's also the head of school of Parker campus. You have myself, Dr. Ager, who's the head of school for Inverness. As I mentioned, Mrs. Rhodes, who's our dean of academic and career advising. Mrs. Miles, our director of admissions. We have Dr. Bash, who's our director of health and exceptional student services for Douglas County. Mrs. Venkit, who is our science teacher and health services coordinator for our career pathways. And then we have Mr. Ryan Mead, who is our math teacher and our STEM IT coordinator for our career pathways for STEM and IT that we'll get into here a little bit. A couple of things that I really wanted to introduce you guys before we really get started is introducing you to a little bit to myself as the head of school for Inverness and a little bit about my teaching philosophy, school philosophy and background. I am a father of two teenage sons, one that's at CU Boulder and one that's a junior. Married my high school sweetheart and gone through my academic journey all the way through the doctorate program. And I really do believe that academics and education is a critical stepping stone in young lives. And I'm very passionate about the way that we teach our young minds in their ability to really critically think. And as we build the culture for Inverness, one of the things that we are constantly striving to do is to making sure that all of our students have the ability to explore, to innovate, to question, and to be able to practice and actively at times engage in their content learning, that content that they're learning, that there's a purpose for it, and we find meaning that take this knowledge that you were learning and do something with it. That's very important. We are truly trying to break away from the siloed approach to classrooms and allowing students to really engage in complex 21st century problems and engage in their content and learning to potentially explore options that mitigate those or help the greater good of community and society, or for their school or for their friends. And so we're really excited about that of breaking away from a siloed approach of lecturing content to where our students can learn but actively participate with their instructors through exploratory learning, taking projects, learning through them, in practicing them, engaging in critical thinking. And we're really excited about that. And we believe that this creates an exciting culture and it really allows students to be excited about learning. And that's our ultimate goal at Inverness, is to explore ways to make our culture fun, exciting, engaging, and vibrant and inclusive. So that's a little bit about what we believe in Inverness and its culture. And that's embedded into our mission statement, as you can see in front of you, of our network mission statement. And what I love, and you've had the opportunity to read this, is that last portion of it, that there really is no exception and no excuses in our journey to pursue a growth mindset for all of our students. Each student matters, and we will do whatever it takes to making sure that they're growing. And we're going to talk more about that in this presentation on our journey and how we do that. But it really is no exception and no excuses. On the bottom of the screen there, you can see our journey of how CEC started. We started in 2007 with Keith King, who was a senator for Colorado that really had a wonderful idea and concept, ideology around making sure that those kids that are ready in high school for college were earning college credit. And we started in 2007, and you can see our journey over the last 13 years that we are now at many campuses across the state, from Fort Collins all the way to Colorado Springs and in between. And we're proud of our success and our accomplishments that we've achieved, hence why we're opening up 2 new campuses for 2020, which is Inverness and Castle Rock. We've had great response and great success from our model, which is requiring we've heard our community saying we would like our more options for our students to enroll in Colorado early colleges. So a couple of clarifications as we get into it. What is Colorado early colleges and what is a charter school? Colorado Early Colleges is a public school. We are a tuition-free public school that is funded by the Colorado Department of Education. We do not charge any sort of fee to enter our school. We accept all students who do apply, unless we reach capacity. Once we reach capacity, then we would go into a waiting list, but we are a public school. What makes us unique in being a charter is that we have the ability to pursue unique models, education models, versus district schools. District schools have their way of offering curriculum and their way of offering their education to their population. Our charter school has some freedom in offering unique models, such as the early college model, which we will talk about here in a second of what that means. We would not be able to offer the early college model if we were a a county district school. So we have an authorizer. We do report to by the Colorado Department of Education. However, we have an authorizer. It's kind of an intermediary between us and the Colorado Department of Education. So we have CSI, which is the Colorado Charter School Institute, that they have mandates and that help us making sure that our charter schools and our network are adhering to and surpassing the Colorado Department of Education regulations and rules. So we're basically governed by 2 entities, CSI as well as the Colorado Department of Education. What I really do want to stress is that Douglas County, or Colorado Early Colleges in Douglas County, is not affiliated with or a part of the Douglas County School District. We are a separate entity. So what is the early college model? The early college model, as we are mandated, that we strive to make sure that each student successfully completes our curriculum, which means that students will graduate with either an associate's degree, a 2-year associate's degree, 60 college credits, or some sort of industry post-secondary credential. And then, as you can see from the top there, there is a difference between the early college model and concurrent enrollment. There's a huge difference. You may be familiar with concurrent enrollment at current district schools or other schools, and they offer concurrent enrollment, but it's not a primary focus. They may offer a handful, if that, of college courses, of maybe offering 12 up to 15 credits of college, where the early college model makes it a focus, that our courses are, as far as the ability to earn college credit, is unlimited based off of the tuition allocation that we will talk about here in a second. So again, it's the current enrollment is an option, and oftentimes very limited on the college courses that they offer, where the early college model is a focus and offers a plethora of college credits to our students. So a couple things that I would like to bring to your attention and really bring to the forefront of what CEC is truly aware of and what we do to combat it to help our families and to help our students. The first being a very significant finding that Colorado high school graduates who attend public college or universities were assessed as needing remedial or remediation courses, meaning that when they go to college, that they had to take remediation courses to prepare them in order to take and earn college credit. So they have to take, as they're enrolled in college, they have to take these remediation courses. They're not earning any college credit, but you still have to pay for it. We are preparing our students by teaching them the college curriculum and preparing them for college, that we are seeing our students as not a part of this statistic, that they are in fact ready to enter college. The second stat that I'd like to bring to your attention is student debt. Student debt has quintupled since 2004. There's no doubt about it. I have one that is a sophomore, finishing his sophomore year, and I can tell you that I do not want my son to graduate with student debt. And it's something that it's a reality because of the cost of it. And as you can see there, the average student debt, according to the Federal Reserve Bank, is $26,900. And I know that any parent out there or any student that is listening doesn't want that for their student. We can also say that the college cost has gone up too, over 500% since 1982, and that is not looking to slow down as well. So we need to be aware of the ways to reduce costs. We need to figure out ways to help student reduce debt, and we need to make sure that students are prepared for college when they enter it. But also, folks, there is a large percentage of young adults that are 18 to 24 that do not go to school right out of high school, that they either enter into the workforce immediately or take a gap year trying to figure things out, and we are aware of that. That nearly 50%, as you can see there, from those young adults that are 18 to 24 do not go into college. Therefore, we see that gap at Colorado early colleges, and that's why we have a career pathway to help those students that are interested in taking a career and earning a career certificate, and we help them along that journey. So a couple of things that we're proud of: we have saved an average student roughly around $30,000. So as you can see, we've helped eliminate that second bullet point. We can see that 60% of our graduates are earning associate's degrees, which does help that first bullet point of remediation. And you can see of the college credit that our students are earning, which also helps reduce costs. Some great things, not only that we've done for the individual student, but as a network, some things that we're really proud of. Since 2007, we've had 863 students graduated with an associate's degree. We've had 143,295 college credit earned. We've saved families in tuition, fees, and book over $25 million. We've had a 700% growth since 2007. We've had 1,845 students that have graduated with some college credit. We are doing great things. And how are we able to do that? Is because we're able to tap into our students to truly find out what interests them. It's not about teaching a specific way or a specific style. It's about understanding what interests the students, capturing that interest and allowing them to explore that passion of them. And why they're getting to explore that passion, we're teaching them valuable content areas and knowledge that adhere to state and district standards. So we're really proud of that. So students can come in and they can be interested in computer information systems. They can be interested in nursing. They can be interested in mechanical engineering. They can be interested in biotechnology. they can have their passion, and they can explore that and earn college credit while doing so. And students, what we find is when they find a passion and they have the ability to explore it, they are excited to learn. And going back to that place and that culture, it is so important for us to make sure that connection and that student comes to Inverness excited about learning. So how are we able to offer all those different options? Is because we have partnerships with 11 colleges and universities across the state. And you can see some of those partners that we have that are listed right there. So if you could imagine, you could open up any of those course catalogs to any of those colleges and universities that you see in front of you and potentially take any of those courses that you would want from them. That's how that works, and that's how we're able to help our students explore, take courses that interest them, and earning college credit while doing so. So that's just kind of an introduction to it. I'm gonna pass it over to Mrs. Wendy Rose to talk a little bit more about the academic program and go a little bit more in detail in regards to that.
Hi everyone, again my name is Wendy Rhodes and I'm the Dean of Academic and Career Advising at Colorado Early College's Inverness. I have to say, if I had this program when I was younger, oh my gosh, I would be taking advantage of this. It is an incredible program, and a lot of people ask us, how do we get this done? How do we have the numbers that Dr. Egger was talking about? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our academic program and how we do this. So we have a competency-based model, which that means that students are placed in classes where they are academically at. So, you know, in a typical high school, you have 9th grade English, 10th grade English, 11th grade English. All the students, no matter what, follow that same trajectory. For us, we really look at the beginning where the students are, and some students may be already at the get-go testing more at the college level, and other students may need a little bit they have some gaps that they need to fill in English or in math. And so we place them in English and math classes that help them fill in those gaps so that they can be college ready. Again, that really speaks to that remediation that we're trying to prevent, so that students don't have to take remedial classes. They can be ready to take college English, college math, college classes as soon as they are ready to do so. We also have accelerated classes. So that means that, you know, typically, like say an English class would last an entire year at a traditional high school. For us, our classes are accelerated, so they are semester long. So just similar to a college class, those are semester based. That's the same thing that we do at our school. And that way, students are filling in those gaps very quickly so that they can start taking college classes if that's what they want to do as soon as possible. And so that's one way we get those our students ready so they can start taking college classes and earn those 60 college credits by the time they graduate from high school. We have a true college prep curriculum. So how our curriculum is designed is in such a way that we are preparing students for taking college classes, not after they graduate from high school, but while they are in high school. So all of our high school level classes, meaning they're not earning college credit at that point, all of those classes are designed so that they can become ready to start taking college classes. We also offer student support to fill in those gaps so that they can achieve mastery. So maybe there's certain areas that they need to strengthen, they have to strengthen in, and so we're going to offer that student support, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a couple bullets down. Also, we have student services like individual education, health plans, and accommodations as well for our students that need that. And we also have an academic support center and tutoring. So we have at our beautiful building, which we're going to go over later on in the presentation, that has a dedicated space for tutoring, and that is going to be available to our students. And also, in addition to that, students that are taking college classes also have access to tutoring services at the college campus. So say, for example, they're taking a college class through the Arapahoe Community College. They also have access to the tutoring services at Arapahoe Community College as well, because they're a student of both our student and a student of Arapahoe Community College. So for placement assessment, so this is how at the beginning when a student begins their journey with us, the first step is to take what's called the AccuPlacer. And this assessment is used across the nation with community colleges. All community colleges, I believe most community colleges use the AccuPlacer to assess where the student's at academically in both in English and in math. And in that way are determining whether the student is college ready to start taking college classes or if they need a little bit of remediation. And so we also use that AccuPlacer assessment for us to kind of, as I was mentioning before, when it comes to that competency-based model, to place students where they're at. So maybe a student's super strong in English and they're testing college ready. Maybe they're struggling a little bit in math, like myself, who had that issue. So, and they may need to take some classes to help strengthen those skills before being placed in a college level math class. So this is a part of the enrollment process for all students. And again, it's a placement test. It's not an entrance exam. It's not pass or fail. We just ask students to do the best that they can when they take the assessment. It's usually about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending. And then for families who do register with us, they will be given a link to set up an appointment to take the AccuPlacer. If there are any accommodations that are needed, just let us know at least 2 weeks in advance so we can have those set up for your student. One thing about our school is we really like to bring on highly qualified teaching staff, and we have a mixture of college level teachers, and we also have high school level teachers at our campus. And so all of our instructors have a bachelor's degree, master's, or doctorate. Many of them have master's or doctorates because they're also they're teaching college level classes in addition to high school level classes. And they're vetted, and all our college instructors are vetted and approved by Arapahoe Community College, which is our primary partner. We also offer instructional coaching and professional development for our instructors as well, and ongoing professional development to keep them up to date with what's going on academically and educationally in the world, and just to continue to improve their skills as teachers and as leaders in the building. So at our school, we have 2 different pathways. So we have the university and associate pathway and the career pathway. So the university and associate pathway, this is for students who are interested in earning their associate degree while they're with us. And the majority of those students also are planning on transferring over to a 4-year university. So what they're doing is they're working on that associate degree, working on those classes that will transfer to a university and complete their 4-year degree and earn their bachelor's degree. So that's one pathway, and the other pathway is the career pathway. And this is for students who are interested in entering the workforce immediately after high school. We don't want to just graduate them from high school without really having earned some kind of industry credential and gain some work experience, so that they can come into the workforce with a higher wage and more prepared as well. So the career pathway, this is the different opportunities are available for these students. We're going to offer industry credentials on our campus. Also, there are industry credentials that are offered, or certificates that are offered through the Arapahoe Community College or any of our nearby partners. Any of those certificates or industry certificates are available for our students as well. You know, some students as well, they may want both. They want the industry certification and the university or the associate degree as well. And this is totally understandable in our day and age when it comes to the workforce. A lot of the workforce, they like that degree, but they also want to see, do you have specific skills in the specific industry that student's interested in going into? And so we do have stackable credentials where students, while they're earning their associate degree, will be also earning industry credentials along the way. And so that's something that's really unique about Colorado Early Colleges, is we have students that are career, university, or a little mixture of both, and we want to meet students where they are at. You know, there are some students that may start off in the associate degree pathway and then decide instead they want to go in the career pathway, or they're in the career pathway and want to go into the associate degree pathway. And that's totally fine. As adults, we definitely can relate of changing our minds and trying to figure out what we want to do. And absolutely, we understand that with students as well. And I'll talk a little bit later about how we work individually with students to help support them as they're in their journey and figuring out what they want to do with their lives. So we have 3 different types of classes offered through CEC. So we have college prep classes, college bridge classes, and college select classes. So college prep classes, these are our high school level courses that are preparing students for college level classes. And so in the college prep classes, these are where the student would earn high school credit only. Almost all of our students begin at the college prep level, and this is just to get them prepared for taking college classes. The next step is college bridge. So college bridge classes are college classes offered on our campus. And so we are going to be offering many college classes on our campus, and we'll continue to add more college classes as we grow and as the years progress. And then finally, we have college select classes. So college select classes are college classes on the college campus, whether that's Arapahoe Community College or Red Rocks or wherever the student is earning their associate degree through, they'll be taking college classes there. Usually what happens is students will start off at our campus taking those general education requirements that are part of an associate degree, you know, basic college English, college math, college history, all the core requirements that no matter what kind of associate degree you get, you need those classes. And then as the student gets more specific into their associate degree, say it's like upper level computer science classes that we don't offer on our campus, then the student would go off campus and take those classes there. So with the university associate's degree pathway, as we mentioned before, Arapahoe Community College is our primary college partner. And we have this just wonderful graphic that really shows how many different options there are for our students through Arapahoe Community College. There are a ton of different options, and it comes through all the 7 different industries. And so a student may be interested in health information technology, or they may be interested in criminal justice or early childhood. Whatever that pathway is, Arapahoe Community College has quite a bit of options for those students. And so you're welcome to look at the Arapahoe Community College website yourself, just to kind of get a little bit more information about what types of classes a student would need to take for whatever pathway they're interested in. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Ager, and he's going to talk a little bit about our career pathways.
Thank you, Wendy. So as we talked about in the earlier slides, that nearly 50% of those young adults that are 18 to 24 do not go to college, and we are well aware of that. And so we have created career pathways at Inverness based off of a lot of research and data through the Colorado Department of Employment, through the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. We've done a lot of due diligence to figure out what careers are looking to explode, not only in Colorado, but nationally over the next 5 to 10 years. And we did this research to really project us and help us with our career pathways. And so these are our focused career pathways. As we talked about, you have the ability to pursue others, but we're going to have specialized classrooms and equipment and curriculum wrapped around these particular career pathways. And as you can see, we'll be into health services. We'll be teaching health services through biotechnology, with plans to have nursing and physical therapy within the near future. Information technology, we're going to have that career pathway, and that's going to be cybersecurity, and that will be taught through networking and security systems. We will have STEM pathway, and that will be robotics, and we're really excited about that pathway. And then we're going to have a business and marketing pathway that's leads to business administration, marketing, and finance. So those are our career-specific pathways that we are offering. But again, those are not limited. You can pursue others, but these will be Inverness-specific pathways that we will pursue. Another exciting opportunity that we are excited to announce and getting a lot of response from is our homeschool programs. We will be having 3 different options offered to homeschool families, and that's our on-campus part-time, meaning that homeschoolers can take 3 to 6 college credits by participating in any of our college courses on campus. We also have on-campus enrichment, which is 1 to 2 days per week, depending on your grade level, where you can come on to our campus. We have a dedicated wing on our school for this enrichment opportunities, where we will be teaching a wide variety of different electives and core classes through our enrichment opportunities. And then the last option that we have for Inverness is our My Tech High option, which is an online or hybrid option, and it's really well done. So if you're interested in learning more about those options, we would love to talk to you more about those, but we're real excited about our homeschool programs at Inverness. So we've really identified 3 different types of populations of students that we are really to serve, and that is our homeschool population, our students that are interested in careers right out of high school versus college, and then those that are interested in the college pathway. How this typically works, now that you've identified potentially of what option might fit you, you need to determine whether or not you enroll as a full-time student or as a part-time. And how this really becomes important is how we allocate tuition dollars. And as you can see, what identifies a full-time student and what identifies a part-time student, and how the funding comes about, because we get a lot of questions wrapped around, well, how do you pay for books and tuition? Well, simply because we keep our campuses low in numbers and enrollment, and we re-strategize how we allocate our dollars that we get from the Colorado Department of Education, that if you come in as a full-time student, you have a tuition allocation of $4,200 a year or $2,100 per semester. So we'll get more into that, and when we get into the advising session here of how that works, but we maximize those dollars for you by our advising sessions when we sit down and talk about your educational plan. So it's important to understand those different options, whether you're a part-time and homeschool, or that you're thinking about attending us for full-time and a full-time student, of how your tuition and those dollars work for you, and some of those parameters wrapped around being a full-time or a part-time student. I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. Rhodes for the advising piece, which I think is one of the, in addition to what we've already talked about, I think that the advising piece of what Colorado Early Colleges does really makes it unique. It's really a collaborative piece that we're proud of, and I'll let Mrs. Rhodes talk more in depth about the advising portion of Colorado Early Colleges.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ager. So advising is something that it truly is something that sets us apart in our network. So there's a difference between a school counselor and a CEC advisor. So typically in a traditional high school, you would have 300, school counselor may have 300 to 400, sometimes even 500 students that's on their caseload. I know for me, I think I met with my school counselor once the entire 4 years I was in high school. They're often, maybe you would be lucky if you saw them once a year. And so you don't get to see them very often. Usually they make the schedule for the student with little to no input from the student. And you know, again, just they are very busy, so because they have such a high caseload, so it's a little bit more difficult to schedule a meeting with them. They also offer more mental health counseling as well, and they usually do with like classroom presentations as opposed to individual meetings. Whereas an advisor, so how our model is that we keep our caseload very low. So it's usually between 120 to 130 students. So why we do that is we want to be able to be available to our students and get to know each of our students very well. So I know with my caseload, I would know my students, each of my students, what their pathway is. I'd see them in the hallway. How's the college class going? Hey, have you checked in to make sure that class would transfer over to this school, et cetera, et cetera. I would know my students very well because it was such a low caseload. This also allows us to be able to meet with the student and the parent on a semester basis. So this is again something that's very unique with our model, is that we have semesterly meetings with the student and the parent to go over things like schedules, what classes are going to be next semester, the whole 4-year plan, how you want to say get your associate of science degree in biology, how are we going to get there? So we map that out together, talk about college and career goals, and give you resources if you have questions, and have ideas for you, help you with college applications, letters of rec, FAFSA, just to keep you up to date every year, you know, because 9th grade through 12th grade, its own phase, really. Each year has its own steps to prepare the student for post high school. So that's something also that we offer as well. I know I'm a first generation college student, and trying to figure out what college classes to take, how are they going to transfer, what's the difference between this class and this class. It was really overwhelming, and I didn't have anyone to really help me out with that once I started taking college, or once I was in college. And that's something that I love about this model, is that the students get a lot of support from their advisors to kind of help them out with planning that out and getting the biggest bang for their buck. And so I definitely, when I meet with students, if they're planning on going to a 4-year university, I'm making sure that they're following a degree plan that's going to transfer to, say, if they're interested in CU Boulder, then I'm going to make sure that we're following that degree plan that would transfer to CU Boulder. So they're not wasting any classes with us, and everything that they're doing is applying towards their ultimate goal. So this is an example of an ICAP. So ICAP stands for Individual Career and Academic Plan. ICAP really is, it's more than just a piece of paper. It's really the 4-year experience when it comes to work experience, volunteer experience, college visits, everything that's supporting their 4-year plan. But we put it on a piece of paper so that, that every single time we meet for each advising meeting, we revise this, we update it to show the student what progress they're taking towards their goal. So you see this student, they started off in 9th grade and then what classes they took, and then you see how they progressed by 10th grade. They're starting to take some college classes with a mixture of high school classes. By 11th grade, they're taking all college classes. In 12th grade, they're also taking all college classes and earning college credit and high school credit at the same time, all those 4 years. So this is a nice visual for students to see, coming from the beginning to the end and how to get there. And then again, if students change their mind, oh, I decided I don't want to be a nurse anymore, I think I want to be a teacher. Okay, so then we revise this ICAP. And that's another thing that's nice about meeting twice a year, is because student plans can change, and so we can update that regularly, and so we don't have to backtrack on that. So graduation requirements. So these are our minimum graduation requirements, when it comes to credits. So you'll see there we have 4 English credits, 4 math, 3 science, 3 social science, 0 to 2 credits in language, a college and career readiness class that's required for all of our students, and then academic electives between 3.5 to 5.5. So the lower level, or the higher level, the 5.5 credits, that's for students who are on the career pathway. They would be taking more elective classes that are applying towards that certificate. So say, for example, they're taking like a Microsoft Office class or an A+ certification class that may not apply to any of the other content areas, but we wanted to allow more room for them so that they can meet their graduation requirements. How we've determined how many credits are needed for each content area is we base it off of what's called the HERE standards. So that's the higher education admissions it was requirements, I think it's recommendations now, I have to check on that. But essentially so colleges are saying that students need to be having 4 units in English and 4 units in math and so on and so forth, in order to that will help them to become college ready. So we use those HERE standards. Oftentimes for college admissions, they require a certain amount of units for English, math, science, all those content areas. And so we want to match those so that we can make sure that students are completely ready for, or they're completely ready for college and have met the admissions requirements for college as well. One of you had mentioned in the question box about how students earn those high school credits. So students can dually earn English, or dually earn high school and college credit. So the students taking a college English class, they're also earning not just college English credits, but they're also earning high school credit English, or high school English credit. And so most of our students, as you can imagine, because college classes are heavier weighted, so students often go way above and beyond these minimum credit requirements. And so just to let you know about that. In addition to the graduation requirements, we also expect students to graduate with either an associate degree, 60 college credits, or an industry certification. So when we're planning the ICAP, that 4-year plan, we're keeping that in mind. And so when we're planning that out, the goal is with that 4-year plan is that student, by the time they graduate from our school, will have earned either 60 college credits, an associate degree, or an industry certification. So that's an additional graduation requirement for us. All right, I am going to pass this on to Dr. Ager, and he's going to talk quickly about campus life.
Thanks again, Wendy. So Inverness is going to be a special place. The campus itself is absolutely beautiful, and if you don't mind, I wanted to take a moment before I pass on to Mrs. Venkit a little bit and show you a little bit about our campus. And if you have an opportunity, I would really encourage you to visit our website to be able to look at some of these renderings. Give me 1 second here. So as you can see now in this screen, these are the renderings that we have. Our current building is being built and it's under construction and being remodeled as we currently speak. But I wanted to share with you, we talk about the ability to explore collaboration and innovate. We talk about all these great, exciting, advising opportunities that we do with our students and our programs. And now we need to cap it off with a beautiful space. And we really do have a unique space here that does feel like a very collaborative space that allows for innovation, that allows for students to feel comfortable, much like a college campus, very open, and it has a lot of great spaces that students can work and to engage in. So as you can see, I'm just kind of doing a 360 here. This is our cafe area on the first floor, where students over here will be doing a wide variety of different activities based off of what they want to do and what they want to promote here. And then you can see that students have all this space around here to be able to collaborate and talk. And here's our office space. So it's a really an awesome space here in our cafe, and it gives you a sense of how large our space is because it is 3 floors, and this is just the first floor. This is the corridor right here that leads down into our cafeteria area that I will bring you into next, which is this building right here, which is our cafeteria. Our cafeteria is going to have, as Uma will say here in a second, we'll have a scratch kitchen. We will have organic food that will be delivered each day and prepped each day into our campus. But you can see again, as I go through this 360 rendering, you can see of all the great lighting and all the great space of our campus, and allows students to eat safely. It's a lot of collaboration, social spaces to have. And then right through here, you can see that we have a stairwell that goes to our 2nd and 3rd floors. Right over in this section on the right side by the doors is where they actually will be served the food. So we love that second place. And we talk about study areas and collaborations. I wanted to share with you this beautiful study place that, as our instructors and our teachers allow our students to engage in their exploratory learning, they need spaces to do so. So we talked about having students get out of the classroom in the siloed approach, that as instructors give them topics or things to engage or to research, that they have these type of spaces within our campus. This is a student collaboration area where groups of students can come. They have whiteboards to where they can write and mind map. They also have a workstation, a TV screen to where they can plug in and do research and collaborate together to build projects. And so we really want our campus to be beautiful in this sort of space, to where we're going to have many of these collaboration spaces throughout the facility. This is such a beautiful, this will all be brand new. So you can see our corridors that lead into here. Here's where our backpack space will be, where students can hang backpacks or their coats down the corridor. And then you can see the blue doors that enter into our classrooms. Our second floor Spark, we have a lot of Spark spaces again within our campus, that we want these places to be where students can come and get out of the classroom, and to where we can engage in collaborative, meaningful conversations with our faculty and our students. And so you could see this is outside of a classroom, another projector where students can present their ideas, where another more collaboration spaces, offices, and just another way and beautiful space for our students. And I'm almost done here, but I'm so excited about how this campus is going to look, and how much time and dedication is being put into this facility, because it is special and it's unlike any other campus that we have in our current network. So you can see again a lot of wonderful inspirational quotes from great people that believe in exploration and hard work and finding their own selves and purpose in learning. We believe in that. Again, that the content you're learning, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do to be great by taking what you've done to inspire others? And so you can see again the collaboration areas within our spaces. And then the last place that I'll get with you here is our digital lab, and one of our features on our third floor that we're really proud of. It's going to allow students to really participate in and activate and innovate with. And you can see here is going to be a special space with computers, an entrepreneurial space, to where again it's not your typical classroom. A lot of space where computer work can be done while looking outside. A lot of light, space, and special features to our classroom. So I just wanted to take a couple of seconds to spend with you about that building. And if you wanted to spend more time on those renderings, please feel free to go to our website and take a look at that. I'm going to give it over now into Mrs. Venkat, who's going to talk a little bit more about the day in life of a CEC student.
Hi, I'm Uma Venkat, and I'm here to talk about the fun part of CEC, the day in the life of a CEC student. So far, Dr. Reger and Dr. Rhodes would have spoken about the academic piece of it, and I'm going to be talking about the fun side of it. So you can see that we offer a lot of academic and non-academic options, right from having fun, prom, homecoming. We do have a theater group where students who are interested in theater would take part in the musical production that happens in the school. We have spirit weeks, talent shows. There are community service projects, mostly which would also be a part of the National Honor Society, where students do a lot of community service. There are student groups and clubs. A lot of them again are both a mixture of fun and academics, improv, student council, National Honor Society. And then we have more academic exploratory clubs like the HOSA, which is the health professions, future health professionals. For students who are interested in the health science, have that club where they have an opportunity to go ahead and explore different health careers, starting from pharmacy tech to research to forensic sciences, and it's a wide range that they can pick and choose. And we have students who try something out the first year and then they don't like it, they would like to change it, they would like to explore something else. It's a great platform for exploring different careers in the health field. And we do have a Cyber Patriot Club, which is basically for students who are interested in the IT or cybersecurity field. The First Tech Challenge is more of engineering and robotics club. That is an awesome club where we see students actually building robots. And there are competitions that they take part in. They do have a district level competition, and then if they are able to clear that, then they go on to state, and then they go on to nationals as well. Having said that, I would like to say HOSA, we have had 9 students place in the top 10 in the state this year, with 4 of them in the top 3 going off to the International Leadership Conference. So these are great opportunities for students. Sports are encouraged at their local school, but we do have intramural sports with students versus staff. We had one basketball intramural sport which happened, and we were planning for another volleyball one. But unfortunately, with circumstances happening with the COVID now, it's not happening. But we do have options, which is fun. We do have student services and support programs. The Dean of Students, we do have restorative justice practices. Sources of Strength is a very popular one in CEC, but students just love to take part in that. Colorado Crisis Services, Safe to Tell, laptop checkout, and we also have a campus monitor who just goes around making sure that the students are safe and the campus is safe for the students. We also have an exceptional support system for students requiring an IEP, a 504, students who are ELL, ALP, and we also have health plans, and all the support required for all of these students is also available on campus. We do have transportation. We do have a free busing service, but there is also a carpooling service called Way to Go, where you could connect with people around your area and carpool to the campus. And just like Dr. Rager mentioned, we do have a scratch kitchen, which is completely organic and zero waste. And we are really excited to be providing nutritional meals for students so that it is good for their body and their mind. I will now hand it over to Dr. Rager, and he will talk more on the admission and graduation requirements.
So we were almost done. Thank you very much, Mrs. Venkat. It's exciting to have so much of that. And, you know, it's also critical to understand that students will have an opportunity to create clubs or additional clubs that they want to manage and run. We always encourage students to do that. So we're at the end, getting to the end of it, of where we talk about now, how do you enroll? Oftentimes when we do this in person, we get a long line of people at the end saying, how come I've never heard of this? And how do I, they're so excited. How do I enroll? And enrollment is going through the roof right now for us because of the great response that we've had, and the beautiful campus of Inverness and our curriculum, our culture, and everything else that we're building around Inverness. So it's a real quick 3-step process to enroll, that you would simply go to our internet site, our web page, and under the admissions there is a enrollment link. And what you would do is you would figure out your initial enrollment application, and you would submit that within typically 2 to 3 days. That you would then receive an acceptance letter that would talk about the next process, which would be number 2, which is your online registration. This is where you start to actually insert data in the documents into the program, into our registration, and start going through the actual process of the registration. The last one is once you've gone through step 2, which is loading all of your documents, you would get a confirmation of completion, therefore sending you one last link to remind you to schedule for your AccuPlacer that we talked about, that Mrs. Rhodes talked about earlier, that we want to get you tested immediately. We would also give you a link to register for an ACC application, because as Mrs. Rhodes mentioned, you would be a student at Arapahoe Community College or at any college that you may attend. You would have to fill out their application as well as ours. And then the last piece, then you would be schedule an advising appointment with your advisor, that one-on-one with the parent, student, and your advisor. And so those would be your 3-step process for enrollment. And again, the best way to do that is through our webpage. A couple things that, since Douglas County started in 2015, you can see that we've started with 32 graduates and 7 associate's degree, to where we're proud of last spring we graduated 131 students with 54 associate's degree. Douglas County has had a long history of students waiting to take advantage of these models, hence why we've opened up 2 new campuses at Inverness and at Castle Rock. We have a great model. We're excited about it. It's proven, and we believe that we are truly making an impact not only on our students, but those students then can leave our institution and make a greater impact on the communities that they will enter in. So, just a couple of things that we hope that you, go to our website, check us out. We're also on Facebook, follow us. We're on Instagram, and we do our best to keep updates and exciting events that are happening.